And certainly when we talk about Russia, as it's been laid out within the recently released national defense strategy, it is the quote-unquote acute threat. But when you look to the key strategic competitor for the U.S., it is the pacing threat, the so-called pacing threat is China.
Right. That's right.
So given the conversation that we're having right here about Ukraine and Russia, how is that translating to the discussion around China, especially as Admiral Gilday of the Navy has recently said that that timeline has accelerated dramatically, the potential for an invasion of Taiwan by China?
Well, again, the future is obviously unknowable, so you can't make definitive predictions of when things are going to happen or not happen. But China, we call China the pacing threat. China is a country that has enriched itself under those rules that were established at the end of World War II. And when Deng Xiaoping put in his reforms in 1979, they've had a 10% rise over run in their economic growth for going on 40 years, and it's slowed down to maybe 7 or 8%, and it's slowing down again to 3%, but there's still very strong growth. So with that wealth came a military, and their military is growing in all of the domains, in space and cyber and the traditional domains of land, sea, and air. So they're growing in capability. We, the United States, have the strongest, most powerful, most capable military in the world. Our adversaries know that. Everyone knows that. The American people should know that. And it's incumbent upon us to stay number one. If we stay number one as a military, which we are right now, if we stay strong, we stay capable, and we demonstrate a will to use that capability if necessary, then that'll be deterrence will take effect, and you won't have the war that you're trying to that you want to prevent. So it's important that we remain strong and remain number one. And we're in a very fundamental change in the character of war. China recognizes that. The United States recognizes it. Russia recognizes that. And what I mean by that is a change in the way you fight, the doctrine, the weapons, the equipment, the technologies. And there's a lot of modern technologies that are coming at us very quickly. Robotics, artificial intelligence as an example, but also precision weapons, which have been around for 30, 40 years. We're in the middle of one of the most fundamental changes in the character of war in the history of mankind. That country that adapts the fastest, that country that innovates the most, that country is going to have a decisive advantage at the beginning of a war, which I suspect will happen at some point in time, sometime in the deep future. If we remain strong, if we remain number one, that war won't happen. So it's incumbent upon us and the generosity of the American people and Congress to keep funding our military to make sure that we do remain number one. And China is the long-term challenge. We want to keep it at competition. We don't want competition to move into conflict.
Which I think speaks to some of the disentangling we've seen in terms of technological supply chains, semiconductor chips, for example, between the U.S. and China and some of those trade export rules that have been evolving. The U.S. is in the midst of this multi-year, multi-billion-dollar modernization process. Can the U.S. truly move quickly enough, especially when we talk about some of these new technologies, to continue to counter and deter China?
The short answer is yes. We absolutely can. We have the capability to do it. We have the right talent. We have the right leadership. We have the right vision. We're working on what's called the Joint Warfighter Concept right now, which we're going to publish in December, and that'll turn into doctrine. So we'll have the vision, if you will, or the roadmap to the future. That'll be laid out. We have the support, bipartisan support on the Hill. We have the right leadership in the Department of Defense. We have the right industrial base. So the short answer is yes. I think all of those piece parts can come together where we can remain number one. It's important, though, to know that all countries have access to these technologies. These aren't unique to the United States. And the country that accentuates and adapts these technologies to certain ways of war and how to fight, and to do that better than your opponent. You're not going to get it exactly right. You just got to get it less wrong than your enemy. And we're going to do that. We're capable of doing that. This is America. We're the most innovative, most capable country on earth that's ever existed, and we're going to continue to stay that way.